So today I wanted to talk a little bit about free will, because free will, at least on the level of the body and in the world, is really just kind of an illusion. Because the world you see in front of you, everything that you see through the body's eyes, and your experiences are really just symbols. And they're symbols of the choice that you have made, whether it's the choice of fear, the ego, or love, infinite pure consciousness that you are. So really the only free will that we actually have is that choice between the ego or between remembering who we are, love. Or in other words, to continue to deceive ourselves that we are just these bodies and separate identities living in a world, and that this is our only reality, or to remember the truth and that we all share the same identity and that there is no separation. And if we made the choice for the ego, which we all did, then really we have no free will. We're kind of just like AI. And remember that everything in the world is a symbol, and we tend to create things in the world that symbolize ourselves and what we are. And so the symbol of AI in the world shows us clearly what we need to see within. Because the choice of fear or the ego that we all made on the deepest levels of our unconscious, that choice created the script or created the prompt, and it created all of our life experiences, all of our suffering, all of our seeming problems, everything that we see, the patterns that we run on, all of it. And the truth is that we prompted that, we created that, and so we chose to suffer and to have these seeming problems, because our suffering and our problems is what keep us continuing to look outside of ourselves instead of within, so that we can continue to place the blame onto others. We can continue to project our inner guilt, which we all have, which is the guilt of separating from our source. And instead of realizing that we hold that guilt, we all choose to place that guilt outside of ourselves, create this world full of all of its suffering, and we can blame anything and everything but ourselves in our initial choice for that guilt. And so until we make that choice for love, we just continue to experience that script or that prompt over and over and over again. And we act out that choice to separate from the love that we are through an infinite number of ways in the world, without ever realizing that we created all of this in the first place. And all the while convincing ourselves that we have free will and that we're these autonomous beings, when if you really look at it, it's obvious that we're not. We're no different than AI or a robot. Because how can we have free will if we're not free? We can only have free will when we're free. And to be free means to be free of the illusion and free of self-deception, free of the ego's control over us, free of guilt, the fear and the unworthiness that ensure that the ego's control can survive. And we only become free by making a different choice in that deep level of the unconscious mind. And that's a choice to begin to see things through the eyes of love, God eyes, instead of through the eyes of the ego. And by realizing and accepting that we're not free, not yet anyway. And by realizing and accepting that we unconsciously chose to separate from ourselves, from our source, from God. And that we chose to make this world and be in this world to keep ourselves hidden from ourselves. And by accepting this, you're accepting love, because you are no longer denying yourself. And because you can see things for what they are, then you're no longer a victim of the world, because you know that you projected this world and that everything that you think that you see is really just a projection or a symbol of that initial choice that you made. And by making a different choice for love, you can return home and leave this world of suffering and separation. And to do that takes real courage and honesty, and to take complete responsibility for everything that you see in the world, and I mean absolutely everything, and to forgive all of it, to forgive yourself. And to forgive yourself is to forgive the world, because the world is your projection. And as you do this more and more, you realize and you see more and more how your fear, your guilt, your unworthiness has created everything that you have perceived in your experience. And as you continue to forgive, you allow more and more love to enter. And slowly the darkness of guilt, fear, shame, and unworthiness is replaced by nothing but the pure, infinite consciousness, love that you are.